What's going on, traders? Hope everybody had a great day. It is Thursday, August 3rd, and we'll be doing an analysis of the S&P 500 Spider ETF. Look at the macro a little bit, as well as look for some areas where we may want to engage the market tomorrow, some levels that I'm looking at, and some places where we can manage our risk. All right, so before we get into all of that, reminder this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and in no way should be looked at as financial advice. And we're going to start off with the daily chart here. Apple reported earnings, and Amazon have already reported earnings. Apple and Amazon both had decent reports, but the market does not seem to like what they have heard from Apple, as it is trading lower. It closed at 191.17, and right now in after hours it is down by 185.12 on the bid. So not looking too healthy as far as that is concerned. We're going to start off here. We're going to look at the daily chart. Now, we did close below the daily 20 period moving average today, and we are, of course, still below the 9 period moving average. But we are into a very interesting area here with some demand. This is now, of course, we're looking at the daily chart. So this is a bit of a wider zone, about a $7 zone that we're watching. But there is the start of some demand here. So it will be very interesting to see if we start to push into it and they start to give up. Now, I've been talking about this 444 area potentially being tagged if this downside continues. But let's see, we've got a couple of other areas that I want to watch out for. And of course, this 447, 45 is going to be the start of it. But the selling is certainly starting to, continue. Is this a really, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Convincing close under the 20? Not really. We tried to get over 450 again today, multiple times. That level was given out yesterday in the last plan as an area to watch, and tried to break over it into the close and were unable to do so. But for tomorrow, we do have non-farm payroll, so we'll be taking a look at that. But I really don't think that that's going to be too much of a market mover. Um, Let's take a look at the fibs here, because besides this 447.45 is the start of this demand here, and you can see the high of this July 12th candle is really the start of that. Let's look to our bigger picture fibs to point out another level that I will be watching for the bulls to potentially hold, and if they break, we are likely to see a bit more selling. Another thing before we switch charts, sure, we can, one of my least favorite patterns, but we could make the case for a bit of a head and shoulders here on the daily starting to form, but that is really not valid unless the neckline breaks. But we'll be watching out on that as well. So let's go into our bigger picture fibs here. And the level that I want to point out is basically 446.25. That area is going to be the 23.6 retracement on our fibs here. So if we do start to get some confirmations and break under that, watch out for some more selling. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe we only come halfway down um, into 442 area. But there is the potentiality of making a full retracement and down into the the 38.2 here, just under 440. But we'll keep an eye, of course, on 440. That's going to be big psychological as well. So we could have a day where we break under that 440 and then we do a recapture type of move. Of course, it's all just loose conjecture, so who knows? We'll just take it level to level, but we'll see what happens if they really start giving up this 446 and even 445 we'll be watching, of course, another whole number there, important to watch out for. But certainly under 40 445, be likely to see that dollar move into 444. That real target I was looking for on the short side. But you know, even though we could still correct, we could even come down into this 440. Um, it's still not really, we're not bearish overall, even if we come down into that area. So, bigger picture, of course, bulls are still in control, even with um, this retracement that we are experiencing. All right, so let's start to look into some of our levels for tomorrow. Before we do that, I guess the only other thing, let's just pull up our last macro chart here and take a peek at where we are. And we are right at, now again, we're talking about how we're coming into a pivotal area here for the bulls. Our next pivot, right? We broke this one for the bulls. We broke this one for the bulls. Now we're at level 3, kind of hanging out right here along this trend line. You can see here where price did try to break up over that daily 20 today, but was not able to and pushed back down. But let's see if this July 12th high can hold. And if not, then we'll be looking at some potential more downside here. And I'm trying to activate this. I just want to straighten that out just a little bit more. All right, that gets confusing with the lines going in both directions, right? So, but we'll see. We'll see if this level holds or breaks or what goes on. We could consolidate, bounce around sideways for a little bit, maybe form a bit of a bear flag before continuing breaking, or we start to get back over the 20 and then try to make a test to get over our next bigger pivot, which would be recapturing basically 452, which I had been talking about yesterday as well. 451.80, 452, that whole zone. All right, so let's get into some areas that we're looking at for tomorrow, and I'll talk about some of the trades that I took today. I took 2 trades for options. I wasn't even going to actually trade options today, but I did it. So that some nice moves we were able to catch. I believe about 45% and 60%. I'm gonna have to look back and double check what the stats were. I guess it's not really important. Yeah, 46%, 66%. So now I did not catch the lows. Actually, I took a short in the morning, but on futures, shorted this pop up here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Shorted this pop up here. I got in probably about in this area on our 25% quadrant back test of this balance. And then we took it down into the lows. I didn't do that on options, did that on futures. But you can see here basically where we stopped, the next balance range that we were watching, right at 447, 450 basically. We talked about that area yesterday as well, anywhere from 447.50 all the way down to 447. We'll be watching there for potential longs. I did not catch this, but I did go long right here, and I got some of this push up into here. Now I mentioned this 450 was my pivot, so I was really out of my position here and got out. I could have gotten a little bit more on that trade, but that's fine. I just had to go and play with my levels. It's also pretty much yesterday's low where we also saw those buyers come in, but. But you can see we had a nice push up, and then we couldn't quite make it up into this 25% corner. Now, actually, I did take a short here on futures, which I got stopped out of, and then I reshorted up here. And I want to show you guys where this actually lines up for the short, although it's not about at the 25% range, but we did come right into, now just let's look at our fibs really quickly. This is also another reason I took the short again on the futures, but we came right into the 23.6, and that's pretty much where we stopped. Now, my second options play I took based on, excuse me, based on the pivots that I had talked about. I covered a lot of the short on my ES, down here, but I held some for this final drop. But I had mentioned this area as well that was about 45.40, 45.40, 45.42. That area has been an important level for me on futures. So I was watching that to see if it would get rejected or not. And this also, and I don't know, I guess, where is it? Did it move? All right, at least at the time, I guess they moved it. Hold on, let me go to the 10-minute chart. Yes, here we go. And at the time, we were also coming into our volume point of control here. So I was thinking, more of a range day. We were talking about that as well yesterday, the potentiality of just trading in this range. And that's basically what we ended up doing. But took that short there on futures and covered some down here. I'd mentioned I kind of gave a little warning on my Twitter about us seeing some selling come back into the market when we were hanging out up in this area. And then once we started breaking back below 450, my bull bear pivot on this balance, I took 0-day puts right here, just as long as we really didn't confirm over 450, 415, 450, 450, 15, that area, and held the short, and then covered and got out most down here. I didn't hold completely into the close. I thought we would just kind of, chop around. So, but either way, that was the one I got about 65% on. Just shorting that 450 pivot right there into the low. So, as far as tomorrow is concerned, we're gonna watch to see if this bottom of the range can hold here. We'll start to, technically, as I was mentioning earlier, a couple of ways that you can trade it. The breakout trade more is if we break back underneath this 448.50 area, come back and retest, okay, then we can potentially look at those shorts to come back down. Now, it's not very far, but into 447.50 and 447. And then if that gives away, we're going to be looking for the half gap of this next balance zone. And this 446.23, ding ding, should ring a bell. That's going to be the 23.6 extension on the bigger picture fibs that we were just talking about earlier when we were going over the macro. So if that 446.23, 446 breaks, then watch out for some more selling to potentially come down into 445 and 445.50 into the bottom part of our zone, where we could see some buyers come in again and defend the market. And but if they start to lose that 445, all right, then our 444 is going to be finally on deck, and I'll get my target that I've been talking about here for like 2 weeks. So we'll see if we get down there. But for the bulls, got to get back over 445. Really, again, it's hard for me to get. There's going to be long trades that might present themselves, right? Maybe in the top of this balance, maybe if we're holding here, the bottom of this balance range, maybe back over 450 to come back into the top of this balance range. But the real area they're going to need to get back over to really get me excited for a decent move is going to be getting back over 452, and that's what we were talking about yesterday. Same thing, got to get back over 452, gives us a chance to come to 453, and then 453, 40, 50, 453, 40, 50, and then maybe 453.72. So we'll look at to get back into this, retest the bottom of this balance here. But as I was mentioning, there are many ways to play it. If you're bearish, shorting up here, again, could make sense. You want to short the top of this balance, right? And then see if we can't make our leg, take some off here at 450, and then try to get some down in here. But in the same token, if we come up here and we actually do break over 452, there is a possible direct short area up in this area by that 453.40, 453.75 area, with risk being over 454. So it just depends on how you want to play it. But if they do actually get over here and start to confirm, then we'll be looking back to get into 455, right, or half cap there. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over. We will see how the markets react tomorrow. And it is Friday, so just protect your profits, follow your plan. Be careful if you are playing 0 days. Play Monday. If you're playing the indexes, we'll see, because it's right now we're just trading in these balance zones. So until we really break some critical levels that I've gone over, it'll be tough to see some real selling. But let's watch out to see if we really start to get some more selling into tomorrow. Or if we continue to just hang out down in these areas and look for possible acceptance. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, follow your plan, follow your rules, and I hope this helps. And if it does, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want. It would mean a ton to me. And I'm trying to get to that milestone of 1,000. So I really would appreciate it. All right, guys, have a good rest of your evening. Take care and be well.